Building a family tree may be a lot of fun, but you never know when you'll come upon that one weird relative. For the figures of Greek mythology, there was no doubt about who that relative would be. Here, Zeus was the king of the gods, defined by his might, judgment, and total authority. He was also notorious for his numerous relationships and continuous pursuit of female companionship. As a result, Zeus didn't really have a family tree. He had an entire family forest. So for today's video, we're going to be visiting that forest, or at least a part of it. Let's start with Zeus's ancestry. In the beginning, there was only chaos. The day and light came from which Gaia came into existence, and she gave birth to Uranus, Zeus's grandpa. Uranus, the sky, was sensual and wild. Yet he despised his children so much that he forced each of them back into their mother's womb at the time of birth. Gaia eventually created an adamantine sickle and begged her children to assist her in removing Uranus from power after becoming overwhelmed by sadness and suffering. The only one who wasn't frightened to consent to her plan was Cronus, who hated his father. So Cronus took Gaia's instruction and hid in a separate area of her womb while waiting for an opportunity to assault Uranus. The opportunity presented itself when Uranus attempted to sleep with Gaia once more that same night. With a stretched out hand, Cronus severed his father's genitalia. As he departed, he promised that Cronus and the Titans would be punished, and also predicted that just as he had been overthrown by his son, Cronus himself would be overthrown by his child. He then set his siblings free and ascended to the position of the new god king. Gaia warned Cronus that one of his descendants would eventually overthrow him, just as he had done with his father. He started swallowing all but the youngest of his 6 children because he was alarmed by that prophecy. But as Rhea was ready to deliver Zeus, her 6th child, she turned to Gaia for help in coming up with a scheme to rescue him. As a result, Zeus was secretly born in Crete by Rhea, who also concealed him there. Cronus was instead given a stone wrapped in his garments, which he swallowed. The nymph Amalthea, who was a female goat, cared for and nursed Zeus in the cave. The Curetes, adolescent soldiers who would clash their swords each time Zeus wailed to hide his screams, likewise guarded the baby Zeus. After he grew up, he devised a plan and made his father throw up all of his siblings: Poseidon, Hades, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. They waged war against the Titans, defeated them, and claimed control over the heavens. Zeus and his siblings took up residence on Mount Olympus and set about ruling the world. It wasn't long until Zeus took a wife or many partners. Here's a handful of them. Metis. Metis was Zeus's first wife and a Titan, the daughter of Oceanus and Tethys. She was regarded as the embodiment of knowledge, caution, and deep intellect. Metis helped Zeus save his siblings and sisters when his father, Cronus, devoured them all. She was also endowed with the talent of prophecy and predicted that one of Zeus's children would triumph over him. To avert this, Zeus transformed Metis into a fly and consumed her alive. However, she was already pregnant with Athena and began building a helmet and shield for her daughter while inside Zeus's body. As a result, Zeus suffered from severe headaches and commanded Hephaestus to cut his head with an axe. Hephaestus did what he was told, and Athena erupted from Zeus's skull, completely armored and ready for a fight. Themis. Themis, one of Zeus's early wives, was also a Titan goddess. Being the daughter of Uranus and Gaia, she was viewed as the representation of natural and moral order, divine right, and rule that regulates all and is even greater than the gods themselves. According to Hesiod, their marriage assisted the Olympian in regaining control of the gods and humanity following the gods' triumph over the Titans. Themis gave birth to 6 children: the 3 Horae, Eunomia or order, Dike, justice, and the blooming Irene or peace, as well as the 3 Morai, fates, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Mnemosyne. Mnemosyne, the Titan goddess of time, reflection, and memory, was the daughter of Uranus and Gaia. Zeus slept with her for 9 days in a row, giving birth to the 9 muses: Calliope, Clio, Euterpe, Thalia, Melpomene, Terpsichore, Euryto, Polyhymnia, and Urania. She is also recognized as one of the 3 elder Titan Mousi, who were the muses of music before she and Zeus had 9 nights of togetherness. The Mnemosyne and the muses, according to Hesiod, were the source of inspiration for monarchs and poets, giving them great powers in speech. Eurynome. Eurynome, Zeus's 4th wife, was also a Titan goddess. She was the daughter of the Titans Oceanus and Tethys, and hence an Oceanid. Zeus had 3 children with her: the Charites, the grace goddess Aglaea, Euphrosyne, and Thalia. Eurynome was possibly a goddess of pasture lands. When Hera flung Hephaestus down Mount Olympus because of his crippling, Eurynomy and Thetis rescued him and raised him as their own child. Demeter, one of the 12 Olympians, was Zeus's sister and wife. She was a personification of Mother Earth and the goddess of agriculture and grain. She was also in charge of the divine law and the cycle of death and rebirth. Demeter and Zeus had a daughter, Persephone, also known as Kore, who was stolen by Hades and transported to the underworld to be his bride. Leto was a Titanide goddess of maternity, modesty, and protection of the young. She was also one of Zeus's many wives, with whom she shared the twin gods Apollo and Artemis. Hera relentlessly pursued her during pregnancy, driving her from land to land in an attempt to prevent her from giving birth. Leto eventually found refuge on the land of Delos and became a mother. Hera, the most famous of Zeus's wife, was also a sister and the goddess of women, marriage, family, and childbirth. She was the daughter of the Titans Cronus and Rhea, and she was notorious for her jealousy and vengeance toward Zeus's countless lovers and illegitimate children. Zeus originally came to her as a bird, and when she took care to safeguard it, he returned to his heavenly form and captivated her. They produced 10 children, the most notable of whom was Hephaestus, the god's blacksmith, and Ares, the god of war. Now, let's shift our focus to the fun part of Zeus's life, his mistresses. There are several stories in Greek mythology about Zeus chasing various mistresses. Some were gods, some were mortals, while others were nymphs. In several of these legends, Zeus seduces naive maidens by changing shape to fool them. Hera, who is envious and angry, repeatedly rebels against the mistresses. Zeus had several children as a result of his adultery. In fact, some tales state that even Zeus could not count them all. Maia, a mountain nymph that Zeus managed to impregnate without her knowledge. She is the mother of Hermes, the god's messenger. Callisto. In order to captivate the nymph Callisto, Zeus disguised himself as Artemis, a goddess whom Callisto worshipped. Callisto had a son, Arcas, but Artemis discovered the truth and transformed them both into bears. Zeus then rescued them by transforming them into the constellations Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Semele was the daughter of Thebes' first king, and she had the god of wine, Dionysus, as a result of her affair with Zeus. According to certain versions of the legend, Hera duped Semele into compelling Zeus to show his actual appearance, which was beyond her mortal ability to comprehend, and killed her. Danae was the daughter of King Argos, who had been imprisoned by her father. Zeus transformed himself into a golden rain to visit her, and together they had the great hero Perseus. Alcmene, the daughter of the hero Perseus. Alcmene was seduced by Zeus when he was dressed as her husband. Hercules was the product of this relationship. Leda was a beautiful Spartan queen. In one of Greek mythology's most famous myths, Zeus changed into a swan to defend her from an eagle and thereby charmed her. Leda had a daughter who was more beautiful than any lady in Greece, Helen of Troy. Zeus's family tree was so complex that basically all of the Greek mythology was needed to explain it. But now you know why Zeus was the king of the gods and the center of Greek mythology's most complicated family tree. If you enjoyed this video like Zeus enjoyed his sexual advances, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay mythically mad.